Hello,
Is the,
everyone. Whoa. Are we ready to go, guys? Are we
sorry,
ready
yeah,
to
we
go?
are. We are.
Okay. Welcome to Crowncast, episode 4. We made it. 4 episodes. Myself, Louis Lett, commentator for Queen and King of the Court, and always by my side, Rich Lambourne, Julius Brink, just a couple of Olympic gold medalists in tow. 2 very good friends. Boys, how are we?
Oh, yeah, probably me first. Yeah, I'm okay. It's a tough day. I've actually been waiting for this podcast quite a long time. In the meantime, I watched some soccer. My club is not in a good mood, so let's see how my contribution will be today. I'm actually in a terrible soccer mood right now because they play like young kids in the Champions League. But from the rest, I'm pretty excited to see you guys in a couple of days. And yeah, we probably have the episode all about Stockholm. It's probably something I'm looking pretty much forward, and yeah, can't wait to see and get back with you boys.
For those who don't know, Julius Brink is a diehard Leverkusen fan who are currently getting their pants pulled down in the Champions League. Hence, he's not very happy at all. Richie, all the way in California. I did have an hour in between Champions League commentary and this podcast where I could tune in to one of the wonderful tales of President Trump's press conference. Always interesting and entertaining. How is it over there, mate?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's 75 degrees and has been for the last about week and a half straight. So things are great here. If you decide to watch the news, that's really on you. I choose to not and just go outside and enjoy the sun. I'd like to take a moment and, just give my heartfelt condolences to Julius's wife for having to deal with that emotional roller coaster that she decided to marry.
Every Saturday, every Wednesday.
Every Saturday.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a good Julius today, or is it going to be a bad Julius?
That's exactly what the chemistry is about at home. Yeah, correct.
Amazing. If you're listening from home, welcome to making it to episode 4 with us, guys. It's a mixture of in-depth beach volleyball chat. It's a mixture of some light-hearted fun. And there's 3 15-minute rounds where we pick a discussion point between us as well. As Julius has already said, Stockholm is on the horizon. That's the next event that we're all going to be at. I think it's about 10 days' time. That has come around very, very quick. And then we know that Hamburg is a little bit later on in the year, June, and then Utrecht at the back end of the summer as well. And rumour has it there's some more events on the horizon being locked in by Wilco Nyland. Let's go. Okay, 15 minutes on the clock. The first question. Boys, how was your Christmas? I haven't seen you. Last time I saw you was in Helsinki. What does Christmas look like in the Brink household? I imagine it's carnage.
It was amazing. I mean, it's family time. Christmas is always great to almost end the year. Actually, yeah, you're right. We wished each other Merry Christmas, and then we left in all directions. Rich flew home, you flew home. I actually spent some days with the Sportworks crew in.
We know. You went to Lapland and lived the dream.
Exactly. And we lived the dream. That was actually until the 23rd. And then with the very last, not train home, but first of all, we flew home back to Central Europe. And that was an amazing trip. And then, Christmas was great with the family. Lots of food, good time, like great to recover. And
Great. I have a question for you, Julius.
Go for it.
What on earth? Like, we talked about Mrs. Brink, okay? So it's just before Christmas. You're flying to Finland on a work trip, and then you turn around and say, all right, love, I'm going to be back right at the start of Christmas because I'm going on a jolly with the other love of my life, Wilco Nyland, to Lapland to see the Northern Lights. How did that go down?
From time to time,
you're basically missing the whole run up to Christmas.
From time to time, she's quite jealous of Wilco. Yeah, but I'm good in negotiations about that, and I was really asking for it, and yeah, I mean, it was a once in a lifetime thing. We've been up so far north, and it just has been 2 days extra. I knew we are very late, but I did my job I had to do at home. I prepared all the cooking stuff, bought like the presents which I had to buy, and yeah, so from
Did she
that
at least
part,
get a nice present off of you because you
for
disappeared?
sure, for sure she
Oh
did,
yeah.
and yeah. No, so yeah, it was tough, and she had some hard times, especially like the days before Christmas has been off school here in Germany. So kids all day at home. Yeah. From time to time, I got a message sending home these polar light pictures, which you have seen on Instagram as well. And like, yeah, she said like, I wish you a wonderful time up in the north, but I'm happy when you actually heat home on the 23rd.
She sounds well. We've had the privilege of meeting her. She is some woman, but she sounds like some woman. And you're a very lucky man, Richie. What was it? Southern California Christmas. I imagine you were in a sleeveless top somewhere.
Throw
Maybe
on sleeves for the holidays. Yeah, my Christmas was great. I have a lot of family that lives very close to where I am, and so my aunt always kind of hosts big family get-togethers on the holidays. I missed the one at Thanksgiving for the London event, but it was nice to be with the King and Queen of the Court family instead. Unfortunately, we had the biggest get-together we've had in recent memory at my aunt's house, and my aunt fell sick, so she had to stay upstairs the whole time and not get to participate in the great event that she's hosting. She kind of did it from a distance, which made me feel terrible for her, but it was all around a great get together and a great holiday because of all the family that was able to attend.
How many calories do you get through?
Ooh, I get through a lot because my mom, and we're still beefing over this a little bit. She failed to make enough ham souffle, which is like the highlight of my Christmas. So I only got one serving of that, but I made up for it with the homemade cinnamon rolls.
Ham souffle.
Yeah. I never know what she's doing back there. Yeah, it's that kind of vibe. But yeah, it was fantastic, and you definitely get your calories in.
Yeah, it was a bad few days to be a tub of Pringles in my house. It was a bad time. It was a bad time to be chocolate. It was a bad time to be cake.
Yeah,
and it was a bad time to be turkey and beef.
Yeah.
So I felt sorry for that.
You really are embodying the once you pop, you can't stop
Yeah.
lifestyle there.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if this is just an English thing, right, or a British thing, that you just like you go and buy way too much food, and it lasts you for like 5 or 6 days, and you still don't get to the end of it, and you think I'm going to get extra this because, you never know, somebody from next door or somebody might come down and come round, and then never happens, and you end up getting through all this stuff yourself. So yeah, it was a great Christmas, loved it. Didn't do my diet much good, but we have a couple of quick questions to go through. I would like to ask you guys, what was your highlight from 2025 from Queen and King of the Court? What was your best moment, and what were some of your happiest memories of the year?
Yeah, I actually would like to go on like what we experienced after the Helsinki event. It was like we often talk about.
Days. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was that good, was it?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay.
And for sure, I mean, we had some highlights, some highlight plays, and I'm very happy about the ending of the season with London and Helsinki with 2 indoor events, which probably gives us a good feeling to also host events indoors, maybe in the later season in 2026. But I must say, like maybe that's not too obvious on our live stream, but we always talk about the royal family, but the whole Sportworks crew and the whole family that works behind to make these events happening, these are also great people, and obviously not on camera all the time, but working behind that product in marketing and in different fields. And I have a good relationship with Wilco, but all the other people working there and joining us in Lapland. Also, the Finnish crew with Ilkka and his friends. Yeah, it's been just an amazing trip. I really like that. So also the exchange of culture and the friendship we've got hosted by Ilkka and his crew. That was probably the ending, and I really left the northern territory of Europe saying it was a worth trip to go, and it's always great to connect to different people when we are around. So I don't have that single moment, but I must say everything like around Helsinki was actually probably the best what I experienced in 2025.
Yeah, me and Richie left the event probably before you, just as you were going back to the sauna. Was that right?
Yeah,
just as you were going back.
Yeah, like
you went back in, right?
We had probably 3 digits on sauna attempts. Like it was really, really great to be there.
Yeah, amazing. Richie, what about you?
Well, what I take from Julius's story is that his favorite moment of the year was when neither you nor I were involved.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that probably goes alongside, like, even my nearest probably have the same, have the same opinion.
Yeah, I think the London and Helsinki events were great because it kind of opened up a new avenue for the product, right? Like they were a little unclear, I think, going into London, how an indoor event was going to work, particularly sort of later in the year. And I think that one came off great. I think Ilkka and everybody in Helsinki did a wonderful job as well. So it's kind of exciting on that front to have that available in subsequent years. For me, the Netherlands is always a highlight just because, I don't know, it's got some extra kind of magic to it, I think, right? It's the birthplace of the company and the concept and all that. And so I think the fans and the Skybox Stadium, it's always a little something extra special in my opinion. And the fact that we get, the mashup and all that stuff makes it fun as well.
Yeah, the mashup's coming in 2026, which I can't wait for. I know that we absolutely love that. And I don't know who's coming with who or what's happening. I know that we talk about London and how special that was in Helsinki as well. All I know is that we can't share what the future plans are yet of London, but it's sounding like it's getting bigger and better. And that's great news for us. It's great news for the community here in the UK. That's exciting. My highlight from Queen and King of the Court for 2025 was Alex Brouwer winning a crown. That was, I've still got the faint whiff of your armpit in my nose from when we were hugging each other in the commentary box. Just that freshness that embodied me. I've never hugged another commentator during a live broadcast. So that was a moment that I don't think I'm gonna forget in a hurry. And I think also I loved Hamburg this year for the reason that I just feel like that's really just getting bigger and bigger every year, and they're adding to it. And I always talk about how I believe the future of beach volleyball will be improved by consistency and being in the same location year after year and seeing more people come through and pack it out. And I remember one day in Hamburg, it was absolutely hammering it down. And the crowd still sat there and loved every minute of the Queen and King of the Court format. So there's a couple of, big memories for me, and I absolutely loved them. What are you most looking forward to, boys, for 2026? You can talk about any of the events that we've got coming your way, or anything else you want to share.
It's like early season, so we have not announced everything yet, but I think it's not 100% official, but next to the official tournaments, we're gonna definitely have an event in Hamburg. I think that's most likely. That's what I'm always looking for. I like the product in my country. Hamburg is a great place. I like the Heiligengeistfeld to host another event. I like the mashup in Utrecht. I think that's always when it's a bit kind of homecoming for product, and it sets the standard in many ways every season a bit higher. And I'm also looking forward and curious where we might go overseas maybe, and having some some new destinations trying to test. Like, we're always testing new locations, so I'm quite curious where we might go. I would wish to go back to Miami. I really like that tournament. So if we could somehow make that possible, or some other locations, like, yeah, that's probably up to Wilco and his crew to make that happen.
I'd love to see you back in Brazil, mate. I've never seen you happier than in Brazil, eating asahi 7 times a day. That was like, you were such a happy man that week.
That's true. That's true.
Richie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in a couple days' time. I've never been to Sweden, so I'm looking forward to that. I feel like, I don't know, how long do you have to be in country before you turn into one of the world's top computer hackers? I feel like that just kind of goes hand in hand with with that country. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
I was going to say you've never been to Sweden, but it's been in your history on your on your computer.
Yeah, probably. Hey, that was said in the trust tree. Come on, buddy.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with Julius as well. Like the Hamburg and the Utrecht events are always highlights, and everything that Sportworks puts out is a highlight of my year, mostly because of who we get to spend our time with.
Yeah, it's always good fun. Just quickly before we end the round, have you got a player of the 2025 year or season from Queen and King of the Court? The reason I bring this up is because I don't think we speak about Ali Huerta enough, and him winning 3 on the bounce. I don't think we're ever going to see that again. And I think that needs to be talked about, obviously, with Joaquin Bello as well, winning his first crown in Hamburg. But that was some effort from the Spaniard. And I think that this is a crazy, we know it's a crazy format, but to be able to do what he's done, I would be very surprised if we see it again.
Yeah, I must say it's tough to name a single player, but I think I was quite impressed about the end of season performance of Amy van Driel.
She could go 3 in a row.
Yeah. And maybe she's a player that might be a bit under the radar. She's not always with the like the most incredible hits or the most incredible defense, but she's so solid, and also like her technique to coach her partner, like whoever she plays with, she's always making a good team. I really like that quality on her. So I think, yeah, you must definitely have her under the top 3 of the 2025 season.
I agree. Richie, anyone to add? Maybe we've taken them.
Yeah, I would just kind of piggyback on what you said, Lou, that kind of the MVP has to be Ali Huerta. 3 of 4 tournaments played is insane, and I agree that it's unlikely to see that again. And then number 1 in our hearts for sure is Alex Brouwer. Like, that was just such a great moment for it to happen in his country as well. Was just amazing. And, of course, it's always exciting for us to get to even have a small participatory role in it.
Amazing. Boys, 15 minutes, done. I'll tell you what, it's 15 minutes and 16 seconds, which I'm going to say is the closest we've been to 15 minutes in an opening round ever. So I'm going to chop it there. Bosh. And we're going to move on. This is my least favorite part of of the podcast. Especially after we talk about me smashing calories in over Christmas time. So this will be fun, because I am trying. Not a big God guy, but God does love a trier. I do believe in that statement. And, health with Rich. Let's go. New Year's resolutions.
We call this the, I don't know, the entertainment break or something, but it starts to feel like the check-in / pick on Louis segment. Right?
Bring it.
Yeah, how is everything going in the new year? Did we bounce back from the holiday consumption?
Yeah, I'm still fat. Yeah. yeah. Rome wasn't built in a day. Is the easiest thing to say. But on the plus side, I was in the gym 4 times last week. I've done Monday, Tuesday. I did 3 days a week before. So I'm putting on some size, Richie. The bad news is,
I love it.
I've gone up a kg. So, Yeah, I'm trying, but obviously, hopefully, a little bit of muscles. I'm trying to follow your. You said minimum 4 times a week. I think three to
Yeah,
four times a week. So I'm
consistency,
like,
right?
okay, let's make sure I'm in three, and if I can get extras in 3 or 4 times a week, that's great. So I'm in at least 4 times this week, and I'm trying, and I'm gonna put on some size.
Yeah, that's awesome. So there's a couple thoughts there, right? I think we've eclipsed. I saw, Arnold Schwarzenegger has like a fit club that he kind of promotes on his Instagram account, and he mentioned just the other day that it was like the 17th of this month is kind of the traditional everyone quitting their New Year's resolution gym attendance day
Oh,
or
I made it.
something, right? So,
It's the
yeah,
20th.
if you've made it
Yeah.
past then, you're already winning, so to speak, right? You said Rome wasn't built in a day, and I agree with that entirely, right? Like we didn't get to wherever we're at in one day, and so we can't get to where we want to go similarly in one day. So yeah, I love all that. The consistency will get you there. And my last thought for you is that up a kg is not a bad thing, right? Sometimes we can be a little overly enamored or disenchanted, whichever side you fall on, with the number on the scale, right? But how we look, how we feel is a much better indicator of where we're at, I think.
What's your thought on pre-workout? Because the only reason I messaged you the other day that I'm finding I'm getting some great workouts in, but I'm telling you
Do
it's
you mean
because I'm absolutely off my head on pre-workout and I'm caffeinated out of my mind and I'm listening to house music heavily and I'm just like I feel great in there, to be fair, and I feel like I'm getting a lot of extra reps and a lot more volume in the gym because I'm taking some pre-workout.
yeah, then I think you stay with it. Is some of that placebo? Possibly, but regardless of if it's the actual pre-workout you're taking
I'm a
or
gullible
whether
man
you
at the best
just,
of times, Richie.
hey, I love it. I almost convinced my mom they removed that word from the dictionary. Um,
Good one.
no joke. She almost looked it up, and I was immediately disappointed. Um, yeah, I think if it works for you, it's fantastic, right? If you're asking my opinion whether you should drink it or just rub it straight into your gums and or snort it, that's up to you.
Yeah, no, go straight in the cup, straight
Okay.
down, and then I'm just spending the next hour itching around. But it's good. That alongside making some smarter choices in terms of my intake with yeah, lots of shakes and lots of goodness in the shakes as well. I've started that stuff, so I'm hoping I can make some changes. Have you guys got New Year's resolutions? Are you into that stuff?
Yeah, some things I don't want to be too precise, and I realized I often miss that after, what did Schwarzenegger say? Day 17.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
either going to the gym, but other things, like I think it's the fifth time in a row where I try to be more on time. And I think, did I hit the minute for podcast timing today? Maybe yes, but yeah, I want to be a bit more on time and not let others wait. It's more a bad feeling that I had too often, that others have to wait for me in situations all over the day, like not that much business related, but yeah, more in social things. And yeah, and I actually wanted to implement a rule for myself, which I heard by an organization, that they implemented some kind of thing that you actually show a reaction whenever you get a message, an email, or something within 24 hours. I actually set myself a goal to reply on everything I receive serious within 24 hours, to give at least a sign of being alive. And I sometimes ghost too much, and I didn't like that behavior. So that is something I'm doing quite well, I must say about myself. The timing thing, I'll probably struggle on the 25th of January already.
Yeah, I like that. Richie, are you a resolutions guy?
Not in that I, wrote them down specifically, but I have some ideas that I'd like to be a little bit more, I don't know, proactive, perhaps in trying to get into commentary a little bit more in a branched out way. You know, we have a fair amount of opportunities collegiately and such in my country. So trying to get into more of that. That might be a 2027 thing, as we're already like most of those jobs are already handed out. But
yeah, but getting yourself in the inbox is key, right? Like that's yeah. I've had a crazy one, a few where I just get nothing back, and then all of a sudden today you're like, oh, the door might be opening, and you're like, that's good. So yeah, I'm also in the same tune as I have to push a little bit harder in some ways, but I'm not really
yeah.
a resolutions guy. I feel that I try and make small improvements and get better at things, and I tried to quit Guinness for the whole month, and that didn't work. So yeah, I only had one, but it was a good creamy pint of Guinness watching Man United, Man City, and I wouldn't change it. Like yeah, I'm okay with it. Right, round two. We go again. 15 minutes on the clock. Okay. We are talking all things very exciting about Stockholm. Bosch. 1 day event, 10 men's teams, 5 women's teams. Great teams as well. Firstly, the question, how do we get a crown over out of 10 teams in 1 day? Anybody know the answer?
You mean format wise?
Yeah. We go semi-finals, and then we push through into a final 5. I can't wait. The Avicii Arena. Have you ever been to Sweden, Julius? I've only been once for an EFSA very, very quickly.
Yeah, just for a couple of hours because my flight connection was not too good. So I did some tour stuff, but I don't remember. That was probably 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago. So I'm very much looking forward.
It's amazing. I mean, from what I understand, there's a great promoter on board. We have the Avicii Arena. We have over 3,500 tickets sold already, and I think there's going to be more just flying out the gate towards the end. Remember in London, we were like, oh, like there's not so many tickets. Like there was a lot of tickets, but it wasn't quite full. And then it came to the day, and there was a lot of people still sort of buying tickets. I know there are people wanting to fly over from London and from where I am to go and watch this because of the draw as well. So it's attracting a lot of attention. It's attracting a lot of attention. Why? Because Sweden went 1-2 at the World Championships. We've already spoken about that. We also know, Richie, what's going on over there? Let us into your world for a minute. That was a real nice smile.
Oh yeah, the puppy just ran in.
Yeah. Let us into the puppy. Okay, nice.
Yes.
What's the puppy's name?
None of your business.
Does it take random shits on the bed and on the floor as well?
Well, yeah, if that costs extra.
So yeah, that's why we're going to Sweden anyway. So we know that they've got the top 2 teams in the world. I think it's the perfect time to take this exciting format to Sweden because it's a 1-day event and the draw is absolutely feisty. Probably the best draw we've ever had on the men's side of things. The women's side hasn't really been announced as of yet, but on the men's side, we have the 2 Swedish teams. We don't really need to give them an introduction. We have the Norwegians in Molsorum, and we have the likes of Plavinj, Fokkerots, the Bellows. We have an American team there as well. In Hagen is coming over with Andy Benesh, I think. So we have a real stacked draw, and I can't wait. I mean, Richie, how are you going to be awake if you're flying over for 1 day?
I'm getting there a day early, just so I can hopefully try and offset that a little bit. I'll be in there Tuesday, I guess, Tuesday evening. So I think we have a little bit of a rehearsal set up for Wednesday. Maybe get the lay of the land a little bit, and then hopefully raring to go on Thursday for the main event. I'm greatly looking forward to it. You know, you talked about that lineup, and I mean, 3,500 plus people in there seems like it's going to be awesome.
We haven't had a crowd like that, I don't think. And I think I've seen it, this big bowl shape arena. I think the sound's going to just be echoing around JB. I'm right in thinking that this is going to be the busiest event that we've had in terms of fans coming in, right? Tickets sold.
Yeah, it's definitely a benchmark. I just mentioned, I mean the event over all these days in Utrecht so far has been the benchmark, but I think in capacity point of view, we're gonna explain, or no, enjoy actually something brand new in the history of Queen and King of the Court. It's never been happening. So many like tickets being sold so early. I mean, we still have some days left, and yeah, I'm quite curious. Like, what's the overall capacity? Is it what? How much could we sell? 5,000? I mean, the Avicii Arena itself is way bigger, so we probably split it in some ways or separate it. But I mean, just talking about like that much of people, like in the deepest winter, and time wise, it's actually not the best part of the season. It's definitely preseason, and I'm so happy that like the top three teams in the world, and there's no doubt that these three are the best teams in the world, are actually competing over there. And yeah, it's amazing. It's probably by far the best lineup we ever have.
Yeah, well, Heiss, our producer and all-round TV god at Queen and King of the Court, said there's up to 6,000 that we can have in there. We haven't seen anything like that. But Rich, do you think like what we saw in London and what we're about to see in Stockholm, do you think that could potentially take Queen and King of the Court in a new direction in terms of selling out big arenas and having it indoors as opposed to what started outdoors on the beach and in iconic locations as well? I mean, I'm excited to see what we learn from Stockholm.
Yeah, you would hope so. I mean, I think this is a little bit of a phenomenon that we're seeing here. So I don't want to incorrectly extrapolate too far on it, because we have the Swedes, and it's really awesome to see their country kind of show up in support of them to this extent, right? Is that something that we can replicate in other locations? You hope so. I don't know that it's going to be immediate, but I think, we've all seen the brand growing slowly but surely over time. So this is a nice indicator of maybe where it can get to. I think it'll still take a little bit of time, though, probably.
I mean, we've got Johnny and David, Armin Helvig. We've got Holting, Nielsen, Anderson, top two from the world champs, obviously Olympic gold medalists in Paris as well. Mol Sorum, Plavin Svokarots, Bello, Berger Hammerberg, I.A. Bassaru, Benish and Smith. And there's still two teams left to come to the party. Now that is absolutely stacked. Do you think anyone else but a Swedish team can and will win it? We've seen Johnny and David, some of the best runs of points we've ever seen. I think back to Rotterdam, that was what I was thinking of, a couple of years ago when they... Who are you winking at, Rich?
Oh, the dog.
some of the best runs that we've seen from... Sorry, you've just completely thrown me off. from Johnny.
I had something in my head.
Yeah. From Johnny and Helvig. That run in Rotterdam where they almost won the final with 15 straight side outs sits in there as something phenomenal. Do you think we're going to see Mol Sorum, Anders, Andy Mol, Christian Sorum stick it to him and take a title? We haven't always seen this format really be not of a liking to them, but they're such a great block defense team, and they bring such a lot of points in their block defense that they haven't won as many crowns, but at the same time, they probably haven't been at as many events as Armin Helvig either.
JB?
Yeah, like it's for sure it's about the names, and the names, like they lead me into that thinking that it's the best lineup ever. But Queen and King of the Court is usually a format where I say for sure it's great to have the best teams, but we always have the drama, even though they are not playing in our events. So if the number 1 to 3 is not playing in the final on our event, we can still have an extraordinary great final. So it's not about the names and the ranking. It's more about the drama that then comes out probably in the third round in a final from out of nothing. Sometimes I'm sitting down there and thinking, okay, so far it seems to be kind of like a flat final. I don't want to talk them down, but nothing special happening. And then out of a boom, you have like unbelievable last 15 minutes. And this is why I like that product so much, because it's so far I can't remember to have not a super entertaining final at the end. Like, it's always been big drama, and we didn't have always the best teams playing. I mean, in normal beach volleyball, you're not always having the final as we saw on the World Champs, and you often see finals played where you say, okay, maybe the semifinal or the bronze medal match was the better match itself. But that's why I'm pretty happy to have the top 3 teams in the world being up there in Stockholm. Also about the rivalry between Norway and Sweden, which will be very unique and intense up there, because even though it's off season, nobody of these teams want to lose against the other country, or you have that inner Swedish rivalry. Playing another World Championship final with a different ending, so the younger team might win the crown over there. So there are many questions I'm questioning to the players and questioning myself, and I'm wishing them to be answered. So I don't know if that really hits your question, but that's
nowhere near it, actually.
Yeah.
Not even in the same continent, but I like your answer anyway.
Yeah, these are my thoughts. These are my thoughts about Stockholm. Yeah.
A penny for the thoughts of Julius Brink. There you have it. Richie, anyone else going to take it but Sweden?
Well, yeah. To answer your question, I think Anders and Christian can unseat them. I do find it interesting with them and this format, though, right? Because I was trying to think, as Julius was busy not answering your question, I was trying to think of a good analogy have you ever seen the movie Maverick by any chance with Mel Gibson? It's kind of an old, like Western poker movie, but there's a scene kind of at the end where he agrees to not win a hand for an hour. And he just spends the whole time at the poker table, like picking up everyone's tells. And then after the hour's up, he continues, he proceeds to wipe out the table because now he knows everyone's tells at the poker table. I feel like that's kind of the style of volleyball that Anders and Christian play. Like in matches, you'll see them lose a first set with some regularity, like more than you would think out of a team as great as they are, right? But they're just sort of biding their time and learning all the nuances of the particular team that they're playing against. And then they put it into, they make their response and usually that comes out in their favor. Whereas the Swedes are so skilled in their side out game that I think it fits this format a little bit better for them, for both the Swedish teams. So can Anders and Christian do it? Yes. Will they? I don't know. Yeah, that's what we're all looking forward to seeing.
I mean, you look at Calvin Aye coming out with Remy Bassaru, like they're going to come out bouncing the ball all over the place as well. Like they can side out. So it might be out of those 3 that we know the Bellows can side out as well as anyone when they find rhythm. It's going to be interesting. And Plavin's, you can never bet against him. He's a sick man. I tell you what, Richie, that little dog that you've got in your apartment, it's very big. Like you're not looking down. You're not looking down at it. Like it's a full like one of Rhodesian Ridgeback.
It's on a pedestal.
Oh,
I mean, we
feels like a Rhodesian Ridgeback or something.
We're going hunting right after
that. Other things we're looking forward to about Sweden. I can't wait to see you guys. And as Julius has said, we are a big family, and it takes a village to run this. And our village is the best village in the world, and we absolutely love working with our crew. Anything else about Sweden? Any other thoughts, Julius? I can see you deep in thought, so I'm in for one more thought before we move on.
Yeah, to finally answer your question, I mean, in that final there will be 5 teams, and if we just assume that it will be 2 times Sweden, 1 times Norway. I would not. I would be surprised in every other final that a team not out of these 3 will win the title. But I would not be surprised if that would happening. I mean, I don't think so. But to answer your question, can someone beat them? Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And I also agree with what you said about this being such a crazy format that it's always entertaining no matter who's playing. And we've said that millions of times, especially this year. We've turned around and said we're having some of the best days in the broadcasting. And that is without maybe 3 or 4 of the top 10 teams in the world being there. And we're blown away by this format constantly. Right, 15 minutes, done, dusted. Well done, lads. We are cooking today, flying through it. Now, do you know what? My computer's just gone mad. We have round 3, and that's always our more, I guess, serious conversation. As we look for new teams for 2026. Any rumours that we've heard going through? There's a few teams that have obviously... You're right, Rich, got the twitch over the left again.
Oh, no.
As,
No.
rumours of new teams. And we're also going to have a discussion about the USA and Germany and their systems. And they're 2 very different systems as well. So starting off, is there any new teams that you've seen pop up around the world? Anything in Germany going on that you need to share at the moment, JB? Or we know that there's a new partner for Kelly Cheng on the women's side of things in the US as well. And I imagine there's going to be a few more changes as well on the horizon.
Maybe we start this time with the US.
Well, yeah, you mentioned the big one there, Lou. Kelly is playing with Meg Kraft. I think that's going to be an excellent team. And obviously that is going to lead to some other partnership shakeups, obviously out of necessity. I'm not sure at what stage of the announcement we're on this other partnership situation that I am privy to. So I will share that with you guys in person, but I don't know if it's been publicly announced yet. I would hate to do that here.
Men's or women's side?
Men's side. So that'll be our little teaser for next week. Yeah. And Julius can tell us about German partnerships, and then we'll get back to, there's another little bit of a shakeup in the U.S. system that you want to talk about in kind of comparison to how the German federation runs their system. So we'll talk about that in a second.
Sure. Yeah, give me a second. I'm struggling with the connection over here. Yeah, I mean on the top, let's say the very, very top stays the same, but on the man side, actually I've been quite impressed about the switches which we had. There's new team now, Paul Henning and Lukas Fretschner, who are like definitely from the outside. I'm not too much involved into that. It seems like the combination of Fretschner and Winter, of 2 defenders, come to the conclusion to then play with a blocker, with a standard blocker. So that's why that's where that switch is coming from. So I mean, for sure we're talking about that now because the Olympic qualification is about to start. So it's actually, if you want to have a proper preseason, it's exactly now to make your choice or to be sure what you're going for. I mean, I remember that on the Brazilian and the US market when I played, I really liked these very, very late changes. Once the qualification has been started, and then in the mid of the first season, sometimes in the very late first season of that qualification period of 2 seasons, there has been some switches made on the Brazilian side especially, and I really, really like that when it also came a bit into that, like calculating that you just can make it if you play the next 10 tournaments together as a team, and then you had to play a full season, which is actually talking about a good planning to go to the Olympics, then is kind of a terrible decision to play all these 10 events. And all other teams actually pull out in the last events before the Olympics. And then you had some Brazilian duos really crashing it. Like I remember the duo of Harley and Pedro going for a run back in those years. They were almost unbeatable. And some inner Brazilian rivalry at that time gave a little bit of flavor. So like that's on the German men's side. On the women's side, I think it stays more or less the same. Definitely on the top teams level. I would be super surprised if these teams would be switching.
Yeah, I think a big one at the moment is what's when Stefan Boerman's going to come back. Is he's announced he's going to be taking a break.
Yeah.
So that's and he looks like he is coaching at every beach volleyball camp possible. If you own a beach volleyball camp and you need a coach, Stefan Boermans is out there, and he's a man of the people. He's a man of the community, which we all love. We love him dearly. But it's interesting to see what sort of shake-up's going to come out of that. Does Jurek team up with Steven van der Velde? What does Brouwer do if that's the case? Like, what's the shake-up there? If Boermans comes back, who does he pick up? Does he go back with Jurek? And I know, again, I don't like talking. We've got here rumors. I don't like sort of parting my insight unless I know it wants to be shared. So I know that there's some chatter going on, but yeah, we just hope that we don't lose Stefan Boermans, because I think we all know he's one of the world's premier blockers at the minute, and the game would be a lot worse off without him, which I'm sure you guys agree, Richie.
Yeah, so that's not injury related. That's just, mental health or whatever else. He just needs to step away or feels he needs to step away.
Yeah, he let me into it in the European Championships back in July that he was just going to finish the season or get to the World Champs, and then he was going to take a break for 6 months or 8 months and then have a look at what happens afterwards. I think being in the system for a long time, I think that there's obviously they've been performing great. There's a constant pressure to keep performing great, and I think he's got these other ideas and things that he wants to do in this time, and I think he sort of saw this as the perfect opportunity to do those things, which is fair play to him. But yeah, I'm sure he's coming back. I think that's the idea. I think it's just a short break, but what that does to the Dutch teams at the start of an Olympic process is interesting. So it puts the cat amongst the pigeons a little bit there. So I mean, I guess we need to watch some space and see who comes out playing with who. I've just loaded the Elite 16, the first event. I think it's in João Pessoa. Yeah, it is in João Pessoa. And there's nothing really happening on there apart from the Swedes are in it. Wozniak, Brill. I mean, Wozniak told me he was finishing like 5 years ago, so there he is. He's still going. So Bedrites, Rinkovic, the Saga Setters, Rota, Gautier, Shukan Garduk, Basaruaye, so the French are in, Semerad and Stocek, and then Vala Pristaus. So, yeah.
Okay.
Nothing
really as of yet.
Yeah,
on the women's side.
Maybe. I just mentioned Henning Fretschner on the German side, which that then leads into the other team, which is Winter Huster. So that's number 2, 3 of Germany.
The big lefty.
Yeah, like also
he is big. I commentated him at FISU this year as well.
Young kid, and like good teams to watch. Even though I think it's going to be tough for them to earn that second spot for the Olympics. So also because of that point switch, and probably both teams might be. I'm not too deep into that point thinking, calculating, but they might be struggling to go in the qualification and whatever comes out. But that's how the German men's team is going to look like.
I mean, that's something brutal that we can probably touch on is I think that the talent and the depth of the talent now is bigger than ever in the sport. I don't think that's I think that's a no-brainer comment. But I also think that the futures are giving a big sort of breeding ground for these kids to go out and play and gain a lot of good experience to then step up to the challenges and through. But some of those yeah, some of those qualifiers for challenges and it's gnarly, and then other ones are it's a bit inconsistent. Other ones can be a little bit weaker. Okay, here we go. Last talking point. German structure. You love structure, you Germans. You absolutely thrive on it. You can't operate without it. You need it to be structured. But it's worked very, very well for Germany and for Europe as well. USA, in terms of systems for beach volleyball over the years, hasn't been the most structured as it is. Pick yourself a coach. There's been certain volleyballers that go through 3 or 4 partners a season. I mean, not at the very top. But the partner switch does happen more often than not. I won't name names, but when I was in California, I was there for a 2-month off season, and one player had 3 different partners in that sort of 2.5, 3-month off season. And the USAV have changed the system on the men's side for the very first time, and they've advertised what Václav Burčík, the busiest man in volleyball, called the biggest job in beach volleyball coaching over the next 3 years, and I don't disagree with him. Richie, couple of questions.
Sure.
Do you think it's going to make a difference? B, are you going to put your name in the hat, the biggest man for the biggest job?
Well, to answer the second question first, that's a resounding no.
Yeah, I thought it might be.
Yeah, I mean, just it's quite a large job. For those unfamiliar, the USA is hiring a men's beach volleyball head coach. All right, and the thing that stands out is that they're advertising it at $120,000 to $140,000 a year, which, you know, I mean, that's great money and all that. It's going to involve a tremendous amount of responsibility. They're going to be in charge of all 4 of the top USA teams, who are now going to be training together consistently, which is a major shift. You know, over the last few years, my good friend, a guy we all know, Tyler Hildebrand, was kind of instrumental in starting that program on the men's side, where we'd have the top 3, sometimes 4 teams have one training together a week. But now that's going to be a more consistent thing under the tutelage of whoever the head coach is that they hire. This is just a little, you know, I know you mentioned, Louis, you're opposed to the rumor mill at times, but
not if other people are spitting them. I'm completely
not if other people are manning the mill.
I have double standards, mate.
Yeah, good. I like a touch of hypocrisy myself. A name I've heard bandied about for that job, Jake Gibb, which would be a fascinating hire. I think, you know, I can't think of a person better served to do that job. But, you know, if I'm playing devil's advocate, I don't know that that's necessarily something, if I were advising him, that I would have him get involved in. Just because so much of jobs like that become less about coaching volleyball and more about sort of bureaucracy. And, you know, I mean, Julius, you can attest to this. You're part of the federation and all that. Like, there's so much political stuff that needs to happen, and, you know, scheduling and player management and all this stuff that becomes, I think, more of a headache than it's worth, which is why I would never consider doing something like that myself. If it were just coaching volleyball, that'd be a different story. But unfortunately, that's very rarely the reality that you get to live in that type of a situation. And thus ends my diatribe, Louis.
I'm just waiting for JB's 2 cents. Nobody wants to listen to me on this. I'm interested to know what JB's reaction is.
I've been, when I heard this big news, and this is kind of it will definitely change the culture of beach volleyball in the US if you move into that system. And I think that what they probably will do, or whoever implemented that system, will be or he or she will probably have watched the situation in the Brazilian Federation, because they also did it in some ways to get the top teams at Saquarema some years ago, where they all trained together. And the German system is kind of working the same, but it seems from the outside that they are centralized, but over there they are actually individual smaller teams under a bigger hub. So some things they do together, but if you go and have like a deeper inside watch of these teams, it still seems that they are like 3 or 4 isolated teams, and just some stuff they actually share knowledge in some stuff, and these are tiny things compared to what you actually must do as a coach if you train a team. So I'm very, very curious about that culture change in the US. But it seems to be the right timing, because if you see the history of beach volleyball on the men's side in the US, like back in my years, like definitely 3 to 4 teams always having chances to score a medal, filling up the spots in the semifinal together with Brazil. I mean, these times are over. And I think they also look left and right and like searching new strategies, searching to get more knowledge into that system and get more quality out of the players they have right now. So I'm very curious, but it's definitely it's probably like you could say the best job or the highest job in international coaching of men's beach volleyball, but that's gonna be a very, very tough decision to jump in, because you don't have much time. You know, starting in 26, the Olympics are about how many? Like 16, 18 months from now on, maybe. I'm not good in mathematics.
The Olympics?
No, we're a couple of years. We're a couple of years.
No, still a couple years.
Yeah.
My brain's starting to fire out a little bit. So, first of all, $140,000 is a lot of money for world tour coaching standards, to my knowledge. So, big job, big paycheck. Fair enough. You talk about the admin side of it and the player welfare side and the stuff you have to do around the scenes, but my balance would be is that, like, are the players on board with this change? Because for a long period of time in the USA, like walking down to like 8th Street, like putting the net up, triangle setting into some stuff, you know, like that was the vibe that I got when I'm there. Like it's a big accountability shift, I would suggest, in terms of, I'm not saying that the players are not highly accountable to their own standards, and they're highly professional, because you've seen it, we see the level that you play at, but I think it'll be a very different sort of culture in terms of, we pay you as a coach and we hire you, to all of a sudden you've been hired to coach us.
Yeah, I agree. And so I've got just a couple quick thoughts for you. In response to that, I don't think anyone on our men's side currently has any room to make an argument that they're not on board with this, because who cares what you think? We're in a situation. No, I mean, you know, respectfully, but we're in a situation where, what legs do you have to stand on with that argument? Like, you can't argue that whatever you've been doing is working so well that you need to stay with it. Correct. Right? When Phil and whoever he was playing with was dominating the entire time, when Jake was, you know, at the top of the game, they could make an argument that, hey, we like the way we've been going about things and it's working well for us. You know, because I think that exists to a certain extent on our women's side in the United States right now. You have Taryn and Kristen, who are kind of, you know, they're not in California. You know, they've got Drew Hamilton as their coach, and, you know, they're doing a phenomenal job. So nobody's looking to sort of stir the pot there or mess with that recipe, because it keeps producing medal after medal after medal. But that's not the case on the men's side for us anymore. And so I think this change is needed. Does bringing somebody in and having that culture shift lead to better results? You would hope so, but it doesn't just all of a sudden generate amazing international talent either. You know, that's kind of the question mark that everybody has to deal with around the world, is, do you have, you know, no matter what a head coach does in the United States, they're not going to turn, you know, Andy Benish, not to single him out for any other reason other than he's a blocker. It's not going to turn him into Anders Mole, for example. You know what I mean? So you're a little bit beholden to what your talent pool is, but I think we do have talented players that we can extract more out of, and I think this is a step in the right direction.
Amazing. Quick one for you and my knowledge of German volleyball, JB. Christoph Diekmann has moved away from his post, I hear, as well, and replaced by Paul Becker. Is that correct? Did I read that right? Did Translate do that for me on Instagram well enough? I know Paul Becker for a long time. Is that it's not the same job, but it's somebody that oversees a lot of the practices that happens and the whys and the hows. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's that's definitely his job profile. I mean, not standing on court with the teams, but being like one level higher. And that's definitely a big loss that we have to suffer on the men and women's side in coaching in Germany. It has some personal issues or personal reasons why he asked us in the federation to stop working, and he's leaving us in March, and Paul Becker is then actually being guided into that field of working with together with Christoph for a couple of months. So he's consulting him at the very first month, and then we're hoping that Paul fits into that profile as well. But it's a big change in Germany. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy though, Becker. I've shared a court with him in terms of when I was coaching and he was playing. That guy would work himself to the bone, and if he takes that attitude into everything else he does, he's gonna be a weapon of mass destruction for sure in whatever he does, because he had the work ethic. Sorry, probably a too tentative time to use that phrase. So, cool. Anything else for anyone? Any other rumors, guys? I can't wait to see. Is it on the men's side? Is it anything to do with the crabs? Rich, come on. By the time this is out, the news will be out anyway.
We'll have to wait and see.
By the time this is out, the news is going to be out anyway.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm on to your little tricks, buddy.
Yeah. I'm full of them.
You're probably not wrong, but we'll save it for Stockholm.
I'm full of them. Right, boys. Lovely to see you. To everybody, please make sure that you're tuning in Stockholm. From my knowledge, this will be out before Stockholm. We know it's going to be a banger. We know that the best teams in the world are there. We know we're at the Avicii Arena. We know that we weren't supposed to be going. Then we got the late call up, and we're involved as well. And we can't wait for that, as it's going to be one of the best of all time in our eyes. A one-day event on the 29th, next Thursday, with the best teams in the world. From myself, Louis Lett, from Julius Brink, where it's 11:10 at night, Julius.
Yeah.
Is that past your bedtime?
That's way past my bedtime, and that was also my goal for the new year, to get more sleep in during night sleep, and I'm gonna miss that. But I'm gonna be back in my routine from tomorrow on, I promise.
Nice. Mate, you've got a lot of New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
And Richie, have fun with your puppy over there.
Will do.
Have a great afternoon. Enjoy California.
I got the peanut butter ready.
Yeah. Right, on that note, before the dog licks off, we'll see you in Stockholm.